Welcome to the top 5 best-selling Beatles albums. In the previous video we did 13 to 6, and now it's time for the big ones. Before we get into it though, please remember that the numbers are going to vary depending on the source you choose. These are the most accurate numbers I could find, but don't be surprised if you see a different number online. With that being said, I don't really want this intro to be that long, so let's get right into the top 5. Starting the top 5, we have what for many is the best album by the band, 1966 Revolver with 14.5 million copies. The amount of copies this album sold played a really big part in its influence. Back then, psychedelic music wasn't seen as a profitable genre, so when the Beatles came in and sold millions with such a weird album, many bands decided to jump on the psychedelic wave too. At number 4, we have the one and only Rubber Soul, also known as the beginning of the band's experimental years, with 15.7 million copies. This is basically a more tame version of Revolver, featuring some of the same songwriting trends without all of the studio experimentations and psychedelic tendencies. Which is probably one of the reasons why this album sold slightly more. Actually, when you look at some of the songs, like Michelle, In My Life, and If I Needed Someone, it's a miracle it didn't sell at least a few millions more. Cracking the top 3, we have my personal favorite album, not only by the band, but of all time, the White Album, with 21 million copies sold. Mind you, some sources place this album closer to the 26 million mark, and it's no wonder why when you look at the marketing behind this album. The length, the trip to India, the problems within the band, the passing of Brian Epstein, Hey Jude and Revolution as the promotional singles, the white cover, and then of course, this is the best album of all time, so 21 million copies actually feels kinda low. This is also an album with no major singles in it. Aside from a few, none of the songs in this album are among the most popular by the band, so the fact that it sold this much should be enough for you to realize how good of an album this is. Alright, so this could technically be number 1, but most sources I found say that Sgt. Pepper sold approximately 28 million copies, so it's gonna stay at number 2. I think we all know about this album and its legacy, the greatest achievement in recording history, probably the most important album ever released, a psychedelic masterpiece that brought the entire music world to its knees. As a matter of fact, if this album was released in a world with the technology of the 80s, I can almost guarantee it would have sold the same or even more than Michael Jackson's Thriller. However, though it was really close, it's not number 1, because with almost 30 million copies sold, 1969's Abbey Road is a rightful king when it comes to sales. I honestly have no idea why this album sold so much more than the rest. Yes, it's one of the best albums of all time, yes, it has songs like Come Together and Here Comes the Sun, and yes, the album cover is really cool, but to sell this many copies, you need an album that causes a cultural revolution, and the only revolution Abbey Road caused is showing that while perfection is not achievable, you can get really close.